you need to just be yourself on social media. We hear that all the time, right? But what exactly does that mean? I mean, aren't you yourself online? Well, some of us are, but here's the thing. You really need to know how to be authentic online because it's the key to you attracting the right people, the ones that convert and become that paying client that you want. So in this episode, Natalie Swan of Gleasy Brands is going to share some tips to save you time by simplifying your approach to using social media to market your business. Natalie calls herself a serial marketer, and she has 10 years of experience in brand strategy and marketing with a background ranging from supporting small businesses to enterprise level companies. So whether you're just starting out or you're just looking to get better results from your social media marketing, you are going to enjoy my chat with Natalie. So grab a pen and paper and get ready to take some notes as we get into episode number 68. Welcome back to the More Than Capable Mompreneur podcast. I'm Shannon Baker, a coffee-loving mompreneur that started as a virtual assistant and turned into a total systems geek. And I want to help you shift your mindset and embrace your worthiness while creating systems in your business so you can be more productive and build success on your own terms without the mom guilt. Are you loving that? Well, I hope you're ready for real conversations that will help you beat the perfectionist inside, rediscover your strengths, and up-level your self-love in the mom cracks of time so you can stop letting fear hold you back because you are enough and you do enough. We are more than capable mompreneurs. So grab your cup of coffee, some sparkling water, or pour a glass of your favorite wine and let's dive in. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. And today's guest is Natalie Swan of Gleasy Brands. So Natalie, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Yes, thank you, Shannon.
So Natalie and I connected on Instagram and we talk all the time in DMs. So believe me when I say that social media works if you do it right. So today, Natalie is going to share some tips with us so that we can learn how to leverage social media to attract the right clients, because we all know social media can be hard. I mean, it is a lot of work, and for all the work you're putting into it, you want to make sure you're attracting the right people so that you can get that lead, convert that to a sale, and make some money off of that. That's why we're in business, right? So, Natalie, before we jump into today's topic, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am Natalie, and I'm a career marketer and brand strategist. I left my full-time job back in the middle of 2018 to work on my business full-time. And really what I wanted to do was to support small business owners with pursuing their passions and their dreams. And that's really important to me. I feel like entrepreneurs and small business owners are just a very admirable bunch of people who are so scrappy and resourceful and creative and smart. And so that's how I felt drawn to spend my time, was building up and connecting with people like that.
Okay, so with your background in marketing, so you say you're a serial marketer, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, I'm a career marketer. Yeah.
Career marketer. Okay. So what are the biggest mistakes that you see small business owners make when it comes to trying to attract the right clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see small business owners run into, and if I'm being totally honest with you, something that I ran into myself, even with a background in marketing, is trying to do way too many things. If you run a business by yourself, or if you even have a small team, you really need to do less and get really good at what you're doing in order to improve. So if you're trying, for example, to be on Facebook and you're trying to grow a group, and on Instagram and TikTok and all these different places, and you're trying to learn video and blogging, the problem with that is that you never really have time to focus on and understand what is working for you and what's not working for you. So you're never really spending the time getting good at marketing because you're always trying to learn something new and different. So that is my first one that I see a lot of.
Okay, yeah, and that definitely, the more features, like even when you think of the way Instagram has changed, you have videos now, we had stories, and you have IGTV. Now we have reels, and then, TikTok came before that, and you've got Facebook, and it's like the list goes on and on and on.
So definitely some people feel that they have to be everywhere. So what mistakes do you think people are making, especially now, or the challenges you're seeing small business owners have in 2021, especially because we have to market and network differently?
Yes, absolutely. I love the accessibility of online business for a lot of people, and just the fact that, you need some Wi-Fi, you need a computer, and you can really get started. But with that is that you have to sort of be cautious that there is unfortunately a lot of bad advice on the internet, and a lot of people who talk about marketing strategies or social media strategies that have worked for them that might not necessarily work for you in your business and might not feel good for you when you're the one trying to implement them. So an example that I talk about really is that it can be hard if you don't know what questions to ask when you're getting started. So for example, you might hear a lot about Facebook ads if you're spending time on Facebook, and how powerful the data is, and how there are, millions and billions of users and all these things. And so you think, okay, I'm going to get on Facebook, I'm going to get exposure to my ideal client. But the problem with that is that if you don't have, a lot of money or a lot of time to test ads on social media, then it might end up being completely wasted. And not only that, but once you've sort of gone through that process of trying to run ads or trying to work with an expert or a consultant or something like that, and then you're still not attracting ideal clients, by the end of that, you don't necessarily know what to do next and like where to go from there. And so this is one of the biggest things that I see really is just this. You want to be an informed marketer for your business. And the best way to do that is to really simplify, is to spend time on the platforms you enjoy, where your ideal client is, and be really consistent with those things. And Shannon, I know that we chatted about consistency, not only in the platform you're using and when and how you're showing up, but also in your message, right? And like how you can help your ideal client, what exactly you have to offer, what you can do for them. Because that's what marketing is, right? Is like helping people solve problems. Like that's what you're doing for your ideal client with your business, is that you're helping them solve a problem. So really, you want to know what questions to ask when you're getting into marketing, and you really want to focus on what is and isn't working, both in terms of how you're enjoying it, as well as how it's helping you attract ideal clients to your business.
Yeah, and that's great insight, especially when it comes to Facebook ads, because until you get to a certain point, personally for me, I don't feel Facebook ads are to your advantage. It's almost like throwing money out the window. I actually just had this conversation with a client recently because she's not getting the return on investment on Facebook ads. Facebook ads is a monster all in itself. And kudos to anyone who is a Facebook ads manager, because I refuse to touch it. It takes a lot. And there's so many, like you said, experts, or a lot of the recommendations is to target your audience through Facebook ads, because that also runs over to Instagram. But if it's done wrong, it doesn't benefit your business. So for someone starting out with their marketing, trying to figure out where to get started and where should they spend their time, what recommendations do you have for them?
Yeah. I really would recommend to focus on learning how to market your business well first. There are so many different types of marketing experts out there, and a quick search on any social media platform, you'll see like, oh, I'm a social media manager, I'm a consultant, I do SEO, I build a website. All of these tools can be extremely powerful, just like Facebook ads, when we know how to use them and when we know when they're actually needed in our business. So I think that really just focusing on becoming a better marketer for yourself, so that you can say like, hey, I'm a local business, like I should be thinking about SEO, because that's how people search for businesses around them. Or, I don't need all the bells and whistles right now, because that's not where I'm at in my business. I don't have $5,000 or $10,000 to spend testing ads, because really I can just be marketing in a lot smarter ways. So, that's what I'm super passionate about. And what I see such a big need for is small business owners investing that time to understand how marketing works for their business. Really keep it simple so that you don't get overwhelmed, because, yes, there's work to be done. And yes, I'm not sitting here saying it's super easy and straightforward and everything is perfect right off the bat. Like, you have to spend the time to figure those things out. But I really would recommend that you spend that time yourself getting good and getting a system and understanding it before you look to outsource all of your marketing. Because that's putting a lot of trust in someone else with your business, right? With your dream, with what you've been building. If it doesn't work and you're out all that money, like that's a problem. So really what I love to say too is just get scrappy. And I've had clients call me scrappy, and honestly, I find it such a compliment. What I mean by that is use what's already in front of you. You don't need to learn new platforms. Like, when I got started, I literally was sending very specific emails to people and hopping on the phone with them. And that proved to be very effective. So you really can make the most out of the tools that you have versus feeling overwhelmed with all the possibility that's out there for you to explore.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, systems, that's a buzzword.
Yeah,
that's like my love language. And the same when it comes to implementing systems into your business. I tell people up front, no, it's not fun. The fun happens after you get them all in place. In social media, even in my 5-step system, that's a piece all in itself, because you've got to have specific things in place, especially as you mentioned, before you start outsourcing. If you don't know what your voice needs to be online, or where your ideal client is online, what their pain points are, how to reach them, if you don't have that information, no one can market your business and get you results. Now, people are going to take your money.
Right. Yes.
Let's be honest. They're going to take your money, whether they're going to get you a return on the investment or not. They're going to make a promise. But for you to really maximize your investment, you got to have those pieces in place up front. So if someone is thinking about outsourcing some of their social media and making that investment, any recommendations you have for them?
I would say focus on when you're speaking with this expert eventually, because you're talking specifically about when they are ready to outsource. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So some people are past, they have the clear message. They know they are niched down. They know the pain points. They got it all in place, and they're like, but I'm ready to hand this off so I can focus on something else.
Yes. So a lot of what we see online, and especially on Instagram, is we need to be posting all the time. The graphics need to be perfect. The pictures need to be edited. And so a lot of the social media, manager offerings tend to be around those things. Like, I'll post for you this many times and things like this. And what I've found is that those things really aren't as important as you showing up and being yourself. And that can still be outsourced, right? Like, I would say, and you're going to love this, put a system in place for that. So when you hire someone, make sure that the content that they're able to produce does sound like you're comfortable with it, and help that person succeed by telling them, we're going to do a month of content, for example, and I want you to do 3 posts to get started, and you're going to develop them and design them based on what you know about my ideal client. And then I'm going to review them and talk about what's working, what's not working, and then we'll grow and scale it from there. So, that's really a big part of it, is just setting that person up for success when managing your social media. And also tying it to the bottom line, which seems pretty obvious for business owners, I think, but oftentimes gets missed when we are thinking about outsourcing or bringing on an expert, because we think they've got it, right? Like they've got it. They're the expert. They can handle this. And, instead of when they come in, we say, hey, I need, 200 leads a month to be profitable. So therefore, I need you to be finding me those people and connecting with them on social, and my content to be, doing some of that lead generation as well, like how can you make that work? And so really tying it to the bottom line as well is going to be helpful in terms of how that person responds and if they're able to truly help you with that.
And that is key because a lot of people don't think about that piece. It's like, how is outsourcing going to fit into the grand scheme of things for you? And you can tell they're missing that piece because they don't have a clear strategy. Because as you mentioned, there's so many different facets that come under the social media umbrella that you really have to know what piece of
Yes.
that you want to outsource to be able to get the return, because someone just creating your images and creating your captions and posting that and then doing the engagement for you is different than someone who's specifically focused on generating leads so that
Yes.
you can nurture that and grow your business, because you can convert them into a paying client. That's different facets of social media. It's a big word.
It's a big word. And this goes back to, I think one of the first things we talked about, which is just you have to understand these things yourself in order to feel empowered and to feel like, I know I need leads, or I know that I need to be collaborating with other people more, or I know that I need, some content. And I'm a big fan of like less is more when it comes to content. In fact, I talk about the fact that I took a year off of social media and was hugely successful in business because, you have these other tools available to you as well. So I think it's just about knowing what you need when, and then you're actually able to say, yes, that was successful because it accomplished what I was going for, versus just, oh my gosh, I'm spending 10 hours a day on social media and I still don't have any clients. And that's a really frustrating place to be.
It is, because
Yeah.
if someone says to me, I'm be like, what are you doing for 10 hours?
Yeah.
That's going to be my first question, because no one should be online for 10 hours. Definitely not. Not if you want your business to grow anyway. So they definitely need to call me because they don't have a system in place for anything.
Yes.
But when it comes to social media, one thing you mentioned when we go back to goals is, like you said, are you looking to collaborate with more people? So you're going to focus your time on making new connections. If you're
Yes.
looking for leads, what are you promoting? Are you just trying to
Yes.
convert a sale, or are you highlighting specific pain points that you can resolve? Give away the cart for free, just enough so that they know you know what you're talking about. But
Yes.
people don't understand that. I was one that had to get comfortable with that myself. I had the mindset of, if I share too much, they're not going to want to pay me. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are, because they won't know how to do everything that you do. Yeah, you can grab a checklist or one of my downloads or the same for you. I'm sure you'll agree. But there are things that we know in our expertise that's not going to be available in that download to make it easier.
Absolutely. And it's not the full transformation, right? Like if you get a freebie, if you get a download, whatever it is, like those can be super helpful. Like I'm not saying that they can't, but the problem is when we continue to reach for those as the end-to-end solution, because they're never going to be one, right? There's always going to be more to it than that. And you're exactly right. It's about, where do we start? What are the steps along the way? And then where does that get us to, which is the result of feeling like, hey, I've got this. Like I have my marketing, I have my system in place. Like I know what I'm doing now because I've invested in that education for myself versus spent it with, an expert or on Facebook or something like that. And it hasn't really taught me anything as a result.
Exactly. So when we talk about downloads as well, we know when someone's starting out, they're going to grab everything free in the world to kind of give them an idea of where to go.
Yes.
I'm one of those people. I will definitely grab a download to kind of give me an idea of what I need to get into. Again, the caution with social media is there's so much involved that there are definite points where you need to make the investment with cash,
Yes.
even if it's just for a one-on-one consultation with someone, so that they can shorten the learning curve. And it's a mindset, because you have to understand anything that's going to make your business run successfully is an investment, not an expense. and paying to work and pick someone's brain, and I mean pay to pick their brain, don't try and do it for free, is an investment because it helps you to be able to succeed faster than you would be able to if you tried to do it on your own. And especially if you go the wrong way, then you got to backtrack and try again.
Yes.
So I understand you have something that you want to that you can talk to us about today that is going to help with this process. So tell us about the Client Attraction Plan of Action membership.
Yes. So this is my new membership, and really it kind of ties together a lot of what we've been talking about. Is that, I came into this online space and I really saw that there's so much advice, there's so much overwhelm, there's so many different paths that you could go. And like you said earlier, Shannon, like sometimes people are going to take your money. Sometimes people are just going to say like, yes, I can help you. And the result doesn't end up being what it is. And so what this membership program does is it really empowers you as the business owner to better understand your marketing and how to attract ideal clients, where to start and where to go from there, so that you can learn throughout the process and be part of that and infuse you into that process versus, continuing to throw spaghetti at the wall and that hope something's going to work. Because I'm with you and I get it. Anyone who's tried, I bootstrapped my business. I didn't have a big chunk of cash to put into it. And so I thought free is good. But then of course you realize free costs you your time and you don't get that back. And now you're, and so it's, so my membership, it's a 6-month membership. You get access to all of my learning modules that focus on how to build your brand and where to focus to be really strategic with attracting and messaging to your ideal clients, how to focus your marketing, and then really how to get organized with that entire process. Because I've heard from a lot of people as well that, oh, I know I should be doing this with my marketing. Oh, I know that it's important to do X, Y, Z, but you really need tools and a system to make that successful. So yeah, you get the course modules, and then also every other week we do a live coaching call. So that's a chance for people to get individual and personal questions answered. And then also an online community as well. So, I want business owners to feel like they have their marketing under control and that it can be really approachable and it can be fun and it doesn't have to feel like a grind.
Awesome. Yeah, this is definitely much needed. So before I let you go, because you shared some juicy nuggets in about 15 to 20 minutes with us today, how about you share with us? This is a bonus question you didn't know about.
Okay, perfect.
What is one system or routine, either in your life or in your business, that you can't live without?
So I love creating agendas in spreadsheets. And this is something that, when I started my business, I was working more with one-on-one clients. And so I would come in to, oftentimes a very busy, fast-paced environment, and I would need to immediately add value to them. And so I would keep agendas for every single meeting that I'd have with them with very detailed notes, dates, everything like that. And then the next time that we met or I was, working with that client, I would know exactly where everything was. I would know the exact verbatim conversation that we'd had previously, and didn't lose any time, digging for resources or uncertain about what needed to happen next. And so that's one of my biggest things, especially again, if you're running a small business by yourself, have a system. We've said that word a lot today because I know, Shannon, that's what you're so good at, but have your tools in a place where you can easily access them and that you can always have that moment of, hey, I'm coming back to this and I know exactly where to get going, because your clients are going to be blown away by that and you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for sharing all this with us today, Natalie. Now, where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, so I primarily hang out on Instagram. So my handle is Glacy Brands. That's GLACIBRANDS. And I love to connect. As Shannon said, she and I met there, and we haven't really touched on this, but a takeaway I would say for the listeners is really just be human on social media. It's meant to be social. You know, you can start conversations with people, you can build them up, you can connect with others. So if that sounds good to you, then I would absolutely love to have a conversation in the DMs.
Awesome. So make sure you connect with Natalie. I am going to drop a link to her Instagram as well as her membership in the show notes. So you can check that out when you get a chance, and hopefully you'll connect with her and chat with her or myself in DMs as well. We love hanging out there. So thank you again, Natalie, for spending time with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Definitely.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you really enjoyed my chat with Natalie and are ready to attract the right clients online and get better results for your business using social media. Now, if you would like to connect with Natalie on Instagram, the link to her profile as well as her membership is in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know. Take a screenshot, post it in Instagram stories, and tag me at _Shannon Baker. And remember, you are more than enough. So until next time, keep calm and streamline.